Hey everyone, Nate from Growers House, and today I'm showing off a couple new products. These are pretty cool because I was really excited about this type of fan when it originally came out a few years ago, but they failed like crazy. And you might remember some of those fans, like the Cap Orbital fan or the Advanced Nutrients Badass Blades fan. They were really cool because they did a figure eight motion, but the blades kept breaking and the components weren't made very well on them. And this fan is supposedly here to actually replace the figure eight one with something that's going to last for a long time. So I want to show you some of the cool features of these two new fans because they're pretty awesome to have in your grow room. So let me turn them on really fast, which I can do with this remote. So I want to show you a few features other than the remote controllability of these, which is a wall mount fan and a stand fan. These are called the Hurricane Super 8 fans. So one of the things that makes them most unique is the fact that they're able to do a figure eight motion like I said earlier. So I'll start off and it'll show you there are different modes you can actually run with these fans. You can run a back and forth, you can run an up and down motion, or the coolest one of course is the figure eight. So the figure eight allows your fan to like really cover more volume, I guess, or more area of plants and get from where your plant is at the base to the higher the canopy. So you'll see I can actually control each one of these fans. I just have to point the remote at which fan I want to control to do what I want it to. So another cool feature of these fans is that they actually have some different settings that allow you to keep the fan so that it stays at a steady velocity, either low, medium, or high, or you can have it so that it changes that, which is what they're called their natural wind mode. So let me show you some of those features over here. Okay, so let's take a look at the interface that this fan has. Now the interface is slightly different for the wall mount fan versus the stand fan. So here's the stand fan we're going to take a look at. Let me turn this unit on and I'm going to go through all the different features and settings it has. So if I turn it on, you see here it tells you your speed. It's at 1. I can change that with the remote or on the face. There's some buttons down here. But I can go to 2, which is medium, 3, which is high, and then turn it back down to 1 just to keep it quiet in here. Let's see, the next thing I want to show you is the different ways that you can make the fan oscillate. So the first one is just your standard left and right, side to side. And then from there you can also make the fan do just an up and down if you want. And then lastly comes the figure eight motion, which will allow it to essentially do an up and down and side to side all at the same time. So next, let me show you the timer feature on this fan. So if you see when I click the timer button, just up here, it just came on, there's almost like a timer dialog box. So each little tick right there equals half an hour. So if I set it right there, that means this fan will be on for the next half an hour. If I click it to 1, then it means it'll just stay on for the next hour and then turn off. So I can set this wherever I want. There would be 5 hours. After 5 hours it'll turn off. And it goes all the way up to 8 hours potentially. So that's one way to control the fan if you want to do it on the spot. Otherwise I'd recommend just hooking it up to your standard timer to have it on when your lights are on, or maybe 12 hours a day. But that is kind of a cool feature. So let me show you the modes now this fan has. So right now you can see the modes right here. It's just on standard fan mode, which means that you set the speed, it'll stay at that speed, and it'll just continue to do that forever, as long as it's plugged in and turned on. The next one is this Z setting, or known as the sleep setting. So what this does is, if I turn the timer on, so let's say I set it for 2 hours, the fan will stay on whatever speed I have, and slowly, as time goes on, it gets slower and slower until that 2 hours is up, and then it'll turn off. So it'll start at a higher intensity or velocity and then slowly work down until that timer is off. And then the coolest one, I think, is the next one. Let me turn the timer off. Let's see. Go through all that. And then when the timer's off, it just assumes the fan is going to stay on. forever. And then the next mode I want to show you is what they call the natural mode, which this one will vary the speed basically from almost turned off. It won't totally turn off, it'll just get very slow, to you know, as high as it can go, and it'll just do that naturally over time. It'll just not only oscillate in its orientation, but oscillate in the volume and speed of the fan, which you can hear it just turned down there a second. So that's very cool. And so these fans, let me show you them a little bit more here. Okay, so lastly, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the development of these fans, because when Sunlight Supply came out and said they were going to come out with a figure 8 fan, I was also like, okay, here we go, another product that's going to, you know, have a huge return rate. But they said they spent 3 years developing it, and they didn't come out with it sooner because they faced some of the issues that some of those other fans did, but they worked past them. And not only that, they got this fan ETL listed so that it can be accepted, and it's designed so that the parts don't break easily. Essentially what they had to do was they had to take the fan blades, which in those other fans were breaking very often, and they had to thin out the plastic and then make it malleable so that as it speeds up and slows down, it's allowed to bend without breaking. And then other than that, I mean, they just have a pretty heavy duty construction. This thing is, I would say, I don't know, it feels a little bit tank-like compared to some of the fans out there. So, you know, it seems like it's going to be a really good fan. We wanted to show it to you guys because we think this is a really cool product. Other than that, this is Nate from Growers House. Have a good one.